I wanted to share the story about how I got my first $1,000 automation client. And this was back in 2017, so quite a long time ago. And the reason I wanted to share this story is because, as you just heard by the date, I've been in the online space for quite a long time. And I know for me, over all those years, hearing just different stories by people on podcasts, in books I read, in videos I watch, just hearing different stories and ideas about how to get clients, how to market your business, how to tweak your messaging. I take in all these things. I find it really helpful, and it just starts to get my creative juices going. And I think, oh, maybe this could work for my business. Let me try this. Let me try that. And then you try it, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. So I really like hearing these types of stories. So basically, 2017, to give you context, I was working as a software engineer. I knew I wanted to start my own online business. I knew I wanted to work online. I had a lot of friends already doing that, so I was very inspired by that. I'd been reading business books since I was like 16 or 17, so I've always been interested in the space. And I was at this job, and I thought, okay, now how do I actually get my first clients? And I must have read in one of these books the concept of showing authority, showing competency, that you can actually do things that might be helpful to other people. So I was thinking about that, and it just so happened that probably the week before, or like a few weeks before that, I had built a little project for myself. Basically, I used to take the bus to get from home to my job, and the website that showed the bus schedule was just terrible. It was so badly optimized for mobile. It was so confusing. And I just thought there must be a better way to do this. And obviously, having a background in software engineering, I figured, well, what I could do is I can create a much simplified version of that bus schedule and create my own website for it. And that's exactly what I did. So this project involved scraping the data from their website and then basically just redisplaying it in a more optimized version on my own website. And I figured, you know what? I built this project for myself. I thought it was pretty cool. I was pretty proud of it. Let me just share it. You never know who's going to be watching. You never know who's going to find it interesting. It's just getting your name out there that you can do interesting stuff and you're working on stuff. And that's what I did. I went to a website called meetup.com, which has various meetups around coding and social things and business things, and there's just meetups for everything. And I found a meetup for programming, so Python programming meetup, if I remember correctly, because that was the language I work with, and I still do some scripting and coding with Python. And I created these slides to talk through the project, and I'm going to show you those slides just to give you an idea. These are the slides of that talk from way back then. You can see it, the 6th of December 2017. And what I did with this talk is it's a combination of just talking through the project, like what was the goal, what was my approach, what was the solution. But I also took a bit of an educating approach. I didn't assume that everyone else would be able to do these types of things. So I also wanted to just give value and say, okay, this is something you can take away from the talk, and then you can also potentially go do some of it yourself. So I talked through this web scraping project, you can see here. And it's very simple. I'm just literally talking about the step-by-step I was doing. I probably didn't have to do it as in-depth as I did it back then, but I decided to go that approach. And I gave this talk. It was a lot of fun. And also in the process, I was also building up the skills of public talking, getting more comfortable doing that type of thing, which obviously leads to these YouTube videos, for example. And as I suggested earlier, it displayed competency. It basically put my name out there. People started to know me as a person who could potentially do web scraping, coding. I'm working on interesting projects. This is how I found networking can be the best way to do it, is just show the stuff you're working on, and that's going to attract certain people who are interested in those type of things. And what happened after this talk is someone emailed me saying, hey, I wasn't able to stay to the end of your talk, but I've got a project that's kind of like what you've been doing. Could we meet up and talk? And we met up, and we ended up working together for quite a long time. So the initial project was that $1,000, and then we worked together for a long time and just bespoke things here and there as they popped up, and we had some recurring relationships, etc. What I wanted to share by telling you this quick story is that there's a lot of ways to get to where you want to go with, whether it's automation, no-code automation, start an agency. There's so many other routes that don't get spoken about, especially these very in-person approaches. Obviously, it's not perfect for every use case, but I wanted to share the story because maybe it is. Just getting yourself out there, talking about your stories, talking about the things you've been working on, what problems have you solved. That's the biggest thing, is becoming known as someone who's solved problems, and then share those stories. So you could literally do that like this on YouTube, just the way I've done it. So you could go work on a project over the weekend, whether it's no-code automation, whether it's an SMMA, putting ads together, for example, building a website, and you can just talk through that situation. For example, if I wanted to do this for landing pages, because I'm doing more landing pages these days as well, or sales funnels, you could say, I came across this person's sales funnel. I thought it could be improved. I had a couple of ideas. This is the design I came up with. These are the decisions I made. Just talking through that and saying like, hey, if you thought this was helpful or you want someone to set up a landing page or a sales funnel like this, then you can reach out to me. And you can just throw that up on YouTube, and you never know. Someone can see that, can be a 50 views video. If you get one client from that and it becomes a $1,000, $2,000 project, sounds like a pretty good return on time in my case, and it just lives there forever. Same thing with no-code automation. If you've automated a couple of your own things, so maybe you set up an automation that catches certain types of emails, you use ChatGPT to extract ideas and concepts, apply tags, put it into a database, create leads, all those type of things. If you set that up for yourself, just talk through that project. Be like, this is the situation I had. This is what I wanted to do. This is how I built it out. If you want something like this, reach out to me. These are the type of things I do. Hope you found that helpful. Like I said, there's so many avenues. I just wanted to keep putting out ideas of things that have worked for me, experiences I've had, because I know for me, this has helped me on my journey. Just hearing so many angles, so many variations, so many different ideas from different people.